I want us to do this. If you are serious about achieving success for yourself and your family, I want you to type into the chat box, I am committed to my success. Okay, if you guys are serious, I want to see how many people are serious. Some people are not, and that's fine. But I want to see who is serious and committed to their success. I am committed to my success. So yeah, I got maybe 5 people, 6 people. Hell yeah, okay. Chris Cooper, that was too much information, but I appreciate you guys. Yes, I like seeing this. So the reason why I have you guys commit is because, subconsciously the stuff that you tell yourself is what you believe, right? And if you're telling yourself this in the morning, you're going to have a successful day. I truly believe that. So there's a couple of things I have for you guys, right? I was going over it a little bit in phase 2, but I'm going to kind of give you a broad overview on how G Money closes deals. And then I want to talk about the different campaigns that we currently have going on right now. And then I'm just trying to equip you with your tool belt when you're out there in the field to make more money, okay? So, definitely if you want to take notes, I highly encourage it. So let's get started. So how to close a sale, right? And some of you guys are really experts at it. I know this is going to be like, redundant because you're already an expert closer, but have the filter of looking at it through the lens that you're going to be teaching it to somebody else. All right. Look how I teach it, and then maybe you can start learning how to teach it to somebody else. Okay. So step 1, when you're trying to close a deal, you got to understand this. Not everybody will be closable. Not everybody will be closable. And it's because there are these things called conditions, right? There are objections, and then there are conditions. They're cousins. Conditions and objections, they're cousins. However, an objection is something that you can overturn, right? A condition is something that will prevent the sale from taking place, right? Does anybody have any examples of what a condition might be? Paola's raising her hand. Paola, what do you think a condition might be?
They're in contract with the company.
Yes, that might be a condition, right? Like they can't leave the contract without paying penalties. So that's a condition. Anybody else?
Can't install the dish because the manager won't let them.
Right, yeah. They can't install the dish because landlord will not let them. That is a condition, right? Anybody else?
MDU restricted properties. Same kind of thing Chris said.
Right, MDU restriction, for sure. These are things that are out of our control, right? Now, an objection, I'm sure we could think about 100 of them, right? Oh, my wife handles that. Oh, I don't like auto pay. Oh, why is the first month so high, right? All these things, I don't want to give the credit card. What happens the second year? How long is my price good for? All these are objections. These are things that you could actually overcome. And by overcoming them, you also build rapport and become more of an expert, right? So understand that there's conditions and there's objections. If a customer has a condition, it doesn't make sense trying to overcome it because you're just wasting your time, right? And I'm trying to help you guys maximize your paychecks and make the most amount of money possible. So understanding that, conditions versus objections, right? Now, let's continue. How do you close a deal with G Money? Well, step 1, when we're doing the intro, you got to understand that you got 4 seconds. You got 4 seconds to make a positive or a negative first impression. Now, why 4 seconds? To be honest and be quite frank with you guys, I'm not sure. I just know that psychologists have studied it, and the first 4 seconds of your pitch make all the difference in terms of the customer's thought process when they're thinking about you. So if the first 4 seconds you walk in there and you're awkward, or the first 4 seconds you're stuttering, or the first 4 seconds you're not looking confident, well, most of the time you're not going to close a deal that door, right? If in the first 4 seconds you position yourself as an expert and with a lot of confidence, then they're going to respect everything you're saying, right? And it's kind of weird, but it's like a true thing. There have been doors that I walk into where it's kind of like awkward because like, you know, for some reason or another, they're looking at me in a weird way and they're also talking to the customer. And those are the doors that I haven't closed, you know, but then there's doors where I walk in there and I'm just like super confident and I could just immediately engage with the customer. And now because of that first 4 seconds, first positive impression, now they're just eating out of my hand like candy, you know? So just understand that first 4 seconds, they matter a lot. So what can we do to make sure that those first 4 seconds are very impactful in a positive way? It sounds redundant, but this is tried and true, and it comes straight off of the 5-day checklist. C factor, right? Let me pick on somebody new to see if they know what a C factor is. Rashid Marshall, what is C factor, my man? Your microphone is on mute, my man.
My fault. But the first one, we can't even do it though. We're wearing masks.
Rashid, that is not the answer I was looking for. I'm gonna give you another chance. What is C factor?
Okay, the first one is smile. The second one is enthusiasm, and the third one is eye contact. I think.
Right on, perfect. So, I mean, let's have a case study here, Rashid. Why do you feel like we can't have C factor when we have our mask on?
No, I'm not saying C factor as in that, but I'm saying the first one, like as in smile. We're wearing masks because they can't see it. But you said, I remember we had a phase out. They said that you could see your eye go up, and they get that little on like if you're smiling, everything's going positive. So I remember that. So maybe.
Wow, let's give it up for Rashid, man. Woo! So Rashid, I think you just, you know, overcame your own objection, man. There you go. You could have C factor. You just proved it right now.
Yeah, I know. I just remember it right now.
It's all right, man. Just take a lap. I'm just kidding. It's all right. It's all good. So, I mean, that's very important. You know, you got to understand C factor is something that is so undervalued, man. Like, this is why we teach it in the 5-day checklist. If it's on the 5-day checklist, you must understand that it's fundamental stuff. You cannot, or maybe you could, but you're more likely to close deals if you have C factor, okay? Some people like don't have C factor and maybe they can pull it off where they might make a deal here or there. But for the most part, people buy based on emotion, right? And one thing that arouses emotion in others is enthusiasm. All the great salespeople that we all know and love, that we read their books, that we wait in lines for their autograph, that we go to their seminars, they have C factor up the freaking hoo-ha, man. They're just crazy with C factor, enthusiasm, smile, and eye contact. So you just gotta understand that, okay? Now, number 2. So we understand that the first 4 seconds matter. We understand that you gotta smile, you gotta have eye contact and enthusiasm. What's next? Now it comes the interview phase of the sale, right? This is the part where we're starting to ask qualifying questions, okay? Now, Anthony Soto, you're new, man, so I want to hear your perspective. What do you think is a qualifying question? What does that mean?
Basically determining their need or how we can maybe best help them. Is the way maybe I would define it. You know, finding their hotspot.
Oh, bingo. There you go. You hit the freaking jackpot with that word right there. Everybody give it up for Anthony, man. That was good. Yes. So when you're qualifying a customer, you want to find their hotspot, okay? Because that's the thing that's going to tell you how to sell them, right? What else is another qualifying question? Well, for me, this is my process. I try to find out immediately if they still have AT&T or if they have Spectrum, right? And that's very, very important because if I'm over here talking to them as if they have Spectrum and then they really have AT&T, then there's going to be a mismatch and a disconnect on my presentation and then the customer's thought process, right? Customers sign up because there's certainty involved. They're certain about their decision. So with certainty, you have to understand that you must match your pitch, your presentation with what they currently have. So if you're talking to them as if they have AT&T and they really have Spectrum, it's just not making sense, right? Why would they want to switch when you're not really making sense, right? So somebody said, how's our service? Yes. So when you're out there in the field, the qualifying question could be like, how's the service? How's our service? You know, and then they...
I have a question. Now, do you always ask, or do you can you walk into the business and know what they have by your observation, and then do you go in and pitch as if you already know, or do you play dumb as if you don't know?
That was a great question, Stefan. I mean, first of all, I don't like playing dumb, man. I like playing smart. I like playing rich. I like getting rich. But I mean, sometimes you're gonna see the modem very, very quickly, or the TV receiver, right? In which case, right off the bat, you're gonna be able to tell that they have AT&T or not. I'll give you guys an example. There was I think it was a beauty salon yesterday. Me and Jay Dollar Sign walked in there, right? It was my turn to start pitching that door. I walk in, I kid you not, like within 2 seconds, I identify that they have AT&T, because like the first thing I do is I scan the room, right? I look to the left, I see that they have like a counter, a cashier counter, and then just behind the counter, I saw like the little forehead of the modem, and it had a little AT&T logo on there. So I knew immediately that they had AT&T, right? So then I started like my pitch, it was no longer like the generic pitch. It was now specifically targeting the AT&T customer, right? And now, why would I want to do that? So why would anybody want to do that? The reason why is because it builds credibility. It makes it seem like you know exactly what you're talking about. It makes it seem that you're from AT&T directly, right? But if you're asking, like, if you're saying that there's problems with AT&T and that's why there's technicians, and then they don't even have AT&T, they have Spectrum, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because they would never switch if they're having problems, right? And you don't look like you're trying to sell them something. That's right, yeah. With AT&T customers, ladies and gentlemen, I try to mask my salesman cologne. I know I tend to smell really good, but I try to mask my salesman cologne so that way they don't see that I'm trying to sell them something. I'm trying to be as customer service as possible so I could get my hands on the bill, okay? With AT&T customers, we have a couple of goals, but one of them is getting the bill, okay? So let me ask a newer person to see if they are following with me here. Sam Kamsa, when you're dealing with an AT&T customer, why do you want the bill, Sam?
Well, first of all, check like if it's like a VoIP line, see how much they're paying, and basically that's all. Okay,
to see how much they're paying. Yes, exactly. So first things first, if I find out I'm dealing with an AT&T customer, I want to get my hands on the bill. Okay, if you're not thinking like this already, you got to shift to think like this, because the bill tells you everything you need to know. It tells you, one, what services exactly they have, right? Two, and this is the interesting part, it tells you how much they're paying, right? It's going to tell you whether or not it's an extra pack or a select. And wouldn't you want to know if it's an extra pack or a select? Or would you rather just settle for select every time? Let me hear you guys.
No.
Extra pack.
Always go there.
Now you gotta get that extra pack.
What they have.
That's right. So, you know, before you start spewing out quotes, it's probably a great idea to get your hands on the bill to see what kind of wiggle room we're dealing with, right? So that's with AT&T customers. With Spectrum customers, people that don't have AT&T, and I'm finding that out, you know how I said mask my salesman cologne? If I'm dealing with a Spectrum customer, I'm spraying more cologne, man. I'm freaking trying to sell the sizzle on why AT&T is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm trying to make AT&T sound like the sexiest thing on earth, you know? I'm going full on sales mode when I'm targeting a Spectrum customer. And why would you want to do that, Gio? The reason why is because they know that you're a salesperson, right? Like they know who you are. There's no masking it. You're trying to get them to switch, right? So you have to sell it. So there's no point in trying to be customer service like. Now you got to really sell yourself, number one, and then also sell the sizzle on the product. What was that? No? Okay. Let's continue. So when we're closing customers, right? We talked about the presentation where you're really building value on the sizzle, right? Selling the sizzle. When you're closing customers, you want to ask for the sale. Now, I've already explained this a couple of times before, earlier meetings, but I want to hear somebody else. Let's see, Jay $. When I say ask for the sale, what does that mean to you?
It's pretty self-explanatory, man. That's something I really emphasize to my new guys, because it's one of the things you emphasize to me. But it's just asking for the sale, man. And there's different ways you can do it. You can soft close, where you kind of ask prior, like, hey, if I lower your bill to 85, does that sound good? And they'll either say yes or no, right? And then there's the actual close, which is when you're reading off those 4 bullet points at the bottom of the order form: AT&T, separate billing, yada yada, we need a card. And then I say the number. So if I can lower your bill to 85, do we have a deal? And I stay quiet. That's asking for it.
There you go. If I could lower your bill to $85 a month, what do you think? Do we got a deal? And then you shut up. First person to talk loses, right? It's kind of weird how that works, but it works, man. If I could lower your bill to $85 a month, what do you think? Do we have a deal? It puts them on the spot, right? And they have to tell you yes or no, and if they tell you yes, well, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you just scored yourself a sale, right? So cool. That's pretty much it, in terms of how I do it. First off, I have to identify existing AT&T or new customer, right? Then I start identifying the hotspot. Then I start selling the sizzle. Then I start asking for the sale. So that's my step process. Now, just to finish it off, I want to just highlight some things. So one, understand that DirecTV is the bread and butter of the campaign, right? This is the thing that we're in there for, right? We want to sell DirecTV. Let's say DirecTV is not possible. They already have a second account. They have DirecTV in contract at the house, right? DirecTV is not possible. What else can you sell? You want to sell something. The customer wants to buy from you. They like you. What else can you sell? Somebody said dish. Yes.
Alarm security alarms.
Right. Cell phones, right? All those. So dish. So if you wanted to, you could sell dish. Now, it's probably not the ideal thing to sell because the compensation plan is a little bit lower. So obviously DirecTV is the thing that you're in there for. But let's say they need TV service other than DirecTV and they want to buy from you because you built enough rapport that anything you're selling, they want to buy. Well, Dish is a great tool to keep in your tool belt. Now, I'm not going to get too specific with Dish, but just know that if you call the office, option 3, they will actually educate you on the different product knowledge that you need to know, whether it's the pricing or the details you need to collect. But if you have a Dish customer, you could call your leader or you could call the office, option 3, and they'll break it down for you, okay? But I'm just putting stuff in your tool belt so when you're out there in the field, you can make more money, okay? So you can thank me later. Now, what else? Right now we have this alarm campaign that's starting to pick up, right? So this is going based off of referrals right now until we get the ADT campaign where we're actually able to start training you. But for right now, if you have somebody that you signed up, it's probably a good idea to ask them about their security system and ask them if they're paying too much too. Because like any sale with businesses, if it saves them money, most of the time, it'll benefit them to switch over, right? So there's that. You have alarms. And the way it works is, all you got to do is just refer them to me or your partner, and then we'll close a deal with you guys, okay? And then lastly, and this is where the ultimate upsell comes in, you sign them up, right? They have DirecTV now, thanks to you. What about their cell phones? What the hell are they doing with an iPhone 10? Didn't you know the iPhone 12 came out? Dude, this is like the latest and greatest technology with AT&T 5G network. Why do you have T-Mobile? T-Mobile? What the hell? That's like, I don't know, that's something else. But AT&T, you get a better deal because you have internet with us. That's like the ultimate upsell, right? And that's something that I want you guys to start practicing more and more and more until you get really competent at. But you got DirecTV, you got Dish, you got alarms, and you got cell phones. So I'll end it with that. if you guys ever run into scenarios where you have a sale potentially and you need help and clarification, just call your partner, call your leader, right? Somebody said T-Mobile, ew. Yeah, so I'll just end it with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go out there, let's make some money. Thanks, Andy.
Wait.